Hello, and welcome to the Bazaar which bumbles. And also, Bumbly Bazaar for this scenario. I always want to know, what on earth is it doing in the middle of the challenging scenarios? Because it really has a very, very low goal. All you have to do is make £1,000 profit from shops and stalls. It's a profit note. It's not just a income. But still, this scenario, I usually beat it just by kind of haphazardly building rides and just going, well, yes, build some things and put some things in, like, casually put a twist in, like that. And sort of guests will wander into the shops, and I'm pretty sure I've beaten this by not even building any new shops. But yes, so I debate what it's doing in the challenging parks. Really, because you can beat it just by sort of casually building. There's no time limit. There's nothing like that. The one thing they have prevented, actually, there is one little bit of credit that I'd have to give to the scenario designer for this, which is it's a hot and dry scenario, so you can't beat it just by putting down an info site or a information kiosk and doing brolly hack, because it's unimaginative name there, because you're very unlikely to actually get to a point when you're able to sell umbrellas. But we could probably make a decent profit from maps, so maps and things, and just on the off chance someone wants to buy a brolly, we'll pop that up a little bit, but the map can probably get up to £1. And because it's hot, the one thing it is, because it is a hot and dry climate, we can charge quite a lot for sunglasses. And I think iced tea also will allow us to charge a lot, and lemonade too. And that's because guests will pay more for these when it is hot. So, okay. Well, let's get on with making some bumbles and bazaars and whatnot. Let's probably turn the research up. Get that going. Turn it up to 11. Hire some handymen. Handy. And two mechanics for my one twist. The world's most reliable twist. Right, okay. What do we have? We have a little junior coaster. This nice little junior coaster. So let's do that. Let's build a nice little junior coaster. And I might make my junior coaster sort of trundle along the river. So we're going to go up here, up on the lift hill. That's quite big for a junior coaster. So it might end up being a fairly long ride, this one. Let's make it a sort of figure eight, actually. It's going to cross over here. Go around here. This might need to be a quite tight turn to get it to fit. So then we can go round there. Ooh. So might need just a little bit more of that. Just see if I can get this to go over the top. There we go. That's sort of nice. Sort of. Okay, so what I could do now, actually, is rather than do that, I think they could do a big helix down. So, there you go. And then just get to go round there like that, and then come round here like this. And just a little bit more. See, so probably doesn't even need to be banked, that, but I will bank it anyway. And then nice water themed queue line for that. Let's go. And yes, there we go. Some more Bazaar bumbled. Let's call it Riverside Rush. So, yes, this is Now, I don't want to overcharge for these. I do want to get some decent money in for building more coasters. But the thing with this scenario is if you overcharge for it, the guests won't have enough money to spend in shops. So what you do need is plenty of shops for them to spend that money in. So let's have some hats. So I can just build blue hats there. Riverside caps. Have a slightly more watery theme. Ooh, yes. Yes, that blends in nicely. I wonder if we have a water coaster actually on this. Maybe it gets researched later. So. Okay, so Riverside Rush. Oh, no test results yet. Never mind. Let's go build. So I'd quite like to build out over here because this would be good for some terrain coasters. So let's do this. Let's build a kind of loop of path out here. Not a very good loop of path. It's a little bit wobbly. No, probably want some benches and bins too. This is a park where I guess we'll be buying lots of stuff if there's not bins for them to put it in. This sort of cycle of consumerism. Oh yes, 4.54. That's an okay coaster. Not an amazing coaster, but it's an okay coaster. Just pop these benches down. A little bit of music as well. Summer style. We got Toyland style. Oh, I was going to turn it off. Then I like. Oh, actually, it's really nice and soothing. That's really calming. How nice. Now, I have a confession to make with this, actually, which is this. This is calming. This is actually my second attempt at recording Bumbly Bazaar. I did try before. I was like, early on. I guess this is a problem I have generally with any hobby or anything that I get into, YouTube included. I always start with going, well, I don't need to be any good at this. So as long as I have a little bit of fun, it doesn't matter. This typical story time music. This is the perfect music. The calming, gentle story. And yes, so this is always how I start with these things. It's called this Riverside Shack. And I did that, and I did OpenTTD 1815 start, and they're kind of, maybe about 12 episodes into it or something, I really got kind of into this. Actually, they were having quite a good time doing this. Let's build a side friction coaster. These are always good, because these can go zooming and crashing off into the distance if you get the gravity wrong. Get the gravity wrong. But yes, if you let... Well, this is wholesome story time in corner, not typical make stupid noises corner. Okay, let's put this. So yes, I started 1815 start, the OpenTTD series, and it was kind of around 12 episodes, and I started really getting into it and going, well, this, I could just go over the top with nonsense stories and stupid things and silly ideas and whatnot and all of that. But yes, it became really quite an enjoyable thing to do. And the problem with that is that as soon as I start doing that, I then go, ooh, so now you're getting into this. Now you can't just have it as a hobby where you just casually enjoy yourself. No, you're going to have to be good at it. And this is kind of the difficult thing, because I don't want to go make this sort of, serious full-time thing. Whatever. I have a perfectly fulfilling full-time job. This is purely for my relaxation and keeping me off the streets and whatever. But yes, I started getting annoyed with some of the things, and I know there's been things like this. We have the occasional audio quality issue because it turns out that come on. How are we going to do this? How are we going to get this back round to where it needs to go? We could just let that go like that. This doesn't need to be a perfect coaster. Come on. Stop fussing. Yes. So, yes. Ooh. I'm just going to get some loan, I think. It's a bit too much in an enormous side friction coaster. Yes. Let's put that there. Some of it there. And yes, so it has some sort of audio issues, and they started getting into the whole, well, now you need to go and do this properly. You need to start thinking about settings like compression and limiting and where your noise cancellation actually is going, all of that. And I was kind of doing the watch back of my original Bumbly Bazaar, which was recorded a while ago, and it's sort of, I know it's a gentle scenario. I know we said we tend to do fairly gentle playthroughs here anyway, but it was gentle to the point of being very soporific, and I was like, well, that doesn't work. That really, no, we can't have that. It's just too much. So, yes, so I ended up doing this again. This is probably going to be just as awful, but at least be a level of awful that I'm happy with because it's recent awfulness. Ooh, I should... Right, let's see how fast these are going to go, because this is going to potentially come careening off the tracks if I get this wrong. So that looks okay. Ooh. No, this should be okay. I think usually 30 miles per hour is the point where you start to worry. So this should be an okay coaster. Now, the circus is just a rubbish ride. Actually, there's a lot of rubbish rides here. It's not very much good. And this gives that a nice historical news. And let's call that Cyclone. They know the real Cyclone is like a proper wooden coaster. Never. Okay, so we already charged about £6 for that. I don't want the guests to be running out of money, so they're also going to pop down an ATM or two. I'm not sure how rich they are. That's another question, isn't it? So let's have an ATM there. How much money do the guests have? So they look like this is a park where they're fairly rich. Yes, they've got 65. They had 65. Oh, and they've got 85. Yes, the guests are quite rich here, so I might turn the juice up a little bit, make a little bit more money, so I can build more coasters and things. 650 is probably bordering on ambitious. Cyclone looks too intense for me. Yes, well, this is one of the more intense phenomena. Okay, let's see if we can... How are we doing on profit? £54 for merchandise sales. Part of that is the guests haven't been in the park very long, so as they stay in the park longer and they start getting hungrier and buying more things, we'll see lots more profits. Yeah. So anyway, let's keep going with this. Let's go over our water ride. Ooh, and we are a bit low on the old money, aren't we? I think it's just that we don't have that many guests. So I think it is slowly going up. Yes, there's a bit of money on landscape, so we're a little bit marginal. Okay, so this probably can't be an enormously expensive river rapids. This is building a huge hill. Well, that's okay, because it's just using the terrain, so... That's great timing, isn't it? It's just using the terrain, it won't be expensive. Boom, you've run out of money. So do I want to take some bit of loan? Yes, well... Yes, let's take a bit of loan. And then what we're going to do is we can build this, and then we can build some small coasters. Let's on a wide photo section. Now, river rapids, I think they do have a little bit of a length requirement. What I'm going to do as well is I'm just going to let this sink into the ground a little bit, just through here. Some of our river rapids, I find they look better if you do this. Sort of sink them into the ground a little bit. Then they don't have those sort of ugly sides on them. Yeah. Now let's do the ultimate sinking them into the ground. Let's actually go underground for a little bit. We can have some rapids. And then maybe some waterfalls. This is kind of prime how these things are supposed to work, isn't it? They have these sort of underground cave sections, so this feels like a sort of, good river rapids. Much as the terraforming is very expensive, and I'm probably wasting all my money on that. Let's bring that out to sort of 10 feet. And then that can go over there. And then, This is a little bit non-prototypical. I'm not sure how many river rapids rides do this. So, this might be a little bit of a... No, that doesn't actually happen. But, so this go round there like that. There we go. That's nice. So you're going to have an entrance there. And exit sort of there. So let's get that testing. I'm going to just make the waiting time nice and efficient, because we don't want boats stacking up at the station without guests able to get going on the ride. So 5 seconds should be okay. Normally that gets us a nice spacing between the boats. So I'm going to build this. Now you're going to go under the ride. So I think that is actually a slightly more exciting way to build the queue line. Is just go under the ride and then alongside it. So this should give it a little bit of an excitement boost. Let us charge a little bit more. We should put some shops over here. So I'm going to call this Thunder Toilets, because this is going to be, let's call it Thunder Bridge. It's a little bit of a thought park. The kind of reference there. Although, actually no, because everybody, probably most people will not remember the ride that I'm referring to, because so there is a ride at Thorpe Park, which now is called the Rumba Rapids. At one point it was called the Ribena Rumba Rapids because it was a sponsorship deal. And the sponsorship deal involved renaming it to Ribena Rumba Rapids from its original name, which was Thunder River. And you will be able to spot anybody who kind of went to Thorpe Park way, way back when, sort of the 80s, when it only really had, the early 90s, when it only had Thunder River and Loggers Leap and the Flying Fish as its rides. The Flying Fish, by the way, was also at one point Space Station Zero. I think that predates even me. Yes, you will find people who went to Thorpe Park in that era will still deliberately refer to it as Thunder River. Okay, so that's fairly exciting. So we can charge that sort of £6, I guess. You get some money rolling in. £3.20. So I think is a good price for the photos. Stops you getting any guests really moaning about the price. So the price for a photo, by the way, I think is £3. But guests will pay slightly more if they're happy. But once you get more than sort of about 20 pence more expensive, then some of the guests aren't happy enough when they leave the ride. Okay, so that's Thunder's Bridge going. I need to build some small coasters. What do we have that's compact? Oh, there we go. These are compact mini roller coasters, so let's build one of those. Demolish that cactus. Straight over that. So this really needs to be a very small coaster. So, oh yes, definitely as I ran out of money. Should I take more loan? Yes. So going gradually underground with this money situation. Okay, so that's fairly good. A little bit of an airtime hill on this. I think. And we just bring that sort of around to a close here. Ooh, actually it's an on-ride photo section. That's a bit exciting. So let's just put entrance here, exit there. Can I put the entrance under there? No, that's not quite high enough. That's a shame. Oh well. Oh well. It doesn't need to be too. We can just get to build it like this. That can do that, I think. I think I would call that cactus. Which is quite good because it's an automotive themed roller coaster. So as well as cactus, the fact that it's in amongst these cacti, you can pretend it's a citron cactus. Dear. Terrible pun time. And this gives it some slightly more cactusy colours as well. There we go. And there we go. That's I like. And so we have to wait for this to get back. This needs this maximum waiting time set, I think. I think that should be maybe about 10 seconds. How long is the ride? 28 seconds. So in fact, this probably could be shorter. This probably could be 5 seconds again. Again, this should be a nice one. We can charge sort of, I don't know, maybe £5 for it. As I say, I want a balance between rinsing the guests for the rides and leaving them money to pay for merchandise. And speaking of merchandise, we could put a souvenir stall there. Let's call this cuddly cacti. Oh, I can't change the colour of the cuddly toys. They can't make them green. Pretend they're some cactus toys. How's this research doing? There we got the reverser roller coaster. I probably should target this a bit. Because I want coasters, thrill rides, water rides, shops and stalls. Okay, so we're making a bit more money, I think. Yes, that's starting to go a bit better. You're seeing shops. So 279, that's why I say this is not really a difficult scenario. We're already kind of half the way there. Let's have a little bit of... Ooh, we could do some spooky theming. Actually, no, save your money because we don't have enough money to go wildly off theming things willy-nilly. Just going to have a nice little cheap. So you'd in fact just build... I might just build little voices because it's a good proven coaster design. Can I fit it in anywhere? That's the question. Well, yes. We'll just extend the exit a little bit. Ooh, don't have enough money. We do need that loan after all. Save me. I don't want to take another £1,000 just for this. That would be ridiculous. And there we go. We spared the ridicule of having to take a £1,000 loan just to build little voices. This is, it's a little tiny coaster. Not a great coaster in terms of throughput or anything, but it will get us some more guests through the door. And this is really it, because this is all the trick to beating this scenario, is just to make sure you have lots of guests in the park. And ultimately, they're going to need things, and they're going to be happy, and they're going to want to buy souvenirs. So that's it. That's kind of all you have to do. Right, that's good. That's money properly good and rolling in now. I feel much better about that. Okay. Let us think about what we want to do next. How's that research doing? Oh, a shop. I really need another shop. So, what can I do with £500? What can we build with £500? Out of all this stuff? Well, I suppose the classic horse tornado really has to go in, doesn't it? Ooh, handymen. We're a little bit low on handymen if that vomit is there. That's not what I want to see, because... right. Fanfare, horse tornado. Job done. Okay. So, what can we do next? Well, this little slide, actually. So So I could build a little slide. A little boat slide. These lose momentum like anything, so you actually have to be quite sort of speedy with the old building. Ooh. Oh, there, I could go down there. Now I need to go up a reasonable amount, because otherwise, if I don't go up enough, what will happen is the boats will just shoot out the top. These boats are really tricky because the weight of the guest changes their performance so much. You can actually find that you build one of these that you think, oh yes, this is perfectly good. This doesn't have any issues. And then some guests go on it and they come flying out of the boat because it's now heavier and it goes faster. So these are tricksy rides to build. So let's go up a little bit. I think so. If you did 25 feet, that was looking a bit slow. So I think 15 feet should be okay. Yes, and then we just go down here to 10 feet. Yeah, we've gone down here, and that should give us enough momentum to get back to the station. Come on. Come on. Station platform. There we go. Alright. I should actually make this a little bit more exciting by just making that covered. See, the cover track is also the ultimate cheat for when you want to not worry about the hills, because if you use the cover track, then what happens with the hills is the boats can traverse them at any speed, and it doesn't matter. Although I've got to be cautious with this because it's not a high throughput ride, so if we build too long a queue line, we can get some unhappy guests. But the way to use our favourite queue line TVs, which we could use them if we could afford them, which seems to be a problem. There we go. So yes, make sure there's not much time between vehicles leaving. Just wait to full load. What can we call this? Well, I'm then going to call it Totes Boats. That's awful. And we are. Well, we're more than halfway towards the scenario goal. Oh dear. It's so much for this being a challenge. But I always knew that to be the case with Botany. Botany? Bumbly. Botany is the last one. Botany is the one you beat with a single splash boats. No, this is Bumbly. This is another story which, Botany at least has the feeling that if you don't do something horribly cheesy, it is actually difficult. Whereas this, yes, we're just casually playing and we're still beating it. But we're also, as well as beating it, we are running out of time for this episode. I try to keep it below half an hour, mostly. I mean, when I do Dusty Greens, I might spend a little longer for the next episode where we can luxuriate. Maybe something a little bit more like a stream, except with no audience participation. But this, well, let's hire some handymen. That's Puddle's annoying me. But let's go look at a different section of the park. So I can do my outro. There we go. I shall see you in a future video.